you had mentors for your brothers?
Not really. You know, I would mimic my dad in that I would just try to make it sound real. That was my mandate. Make it real. And that still carries me.
What was your first big part? The Cowboys?
The Cowboys, the first big part, when I went in on the audition, I was auditioning for the character Slim. I was Slim, and I had to do this scene where I'm reading out of a poetry book in front of Mr. Will Anderson, who was John Wayne. And the character would have been scared to death. I was scared. And I didn't have to act. I was scared to death. And they bought it. Yeah, so I got the job.
You didn't get advice from your older brother David Carradine or Keith Carradine on how to do a movie?
No, there was no advice coming from my well-heeled friends and relatives. I mean, they just we kind of go our own way.
Interesting.
You would think, coming from an acting family, that they'd be supportive. And I do think that it was a conspiracy to get me into the acting profession. My dad was doing a play in Jacksonville, Florida. It's called Tobacco Road. Bertha Keith was the co-star. And on the drive out that we drove, my dad said, "You're going to be Keith's understudy." I said, "What's an understudy?" He said, "Well, Keith has to go off the stage. You step in." It's like, "Oh, okay." Knowing full well that's never going to happen. Sure enough, about a week or two into the production, Keith decides he has to go do a movie with Robert Altman. And
Was that Welcome to LA?
No, that was The Cave of Mrs. Miller. So all of a sudden, I'm on stage. I had a week of rehearsal and a week of production before we finished the play, and I'm absolutely convinced Keith and my dad set it up so that they could get me into the profession, because for sure he knew he was doing that movie when he got to Florida. He knew he was going to do it. So it's a conspiracy to get into the acting profession. So my dad could go around and say, "I've created a dynasty." And that was kind of his deal. Now Keith has a daughter, Martha Plimpton. I have a daughter, Ever Carradine.
One is from the Goonies, Martha Plimpton, and Ever's from the
Handmaid's Tale. That's her latest thing. I mean, she's going to do a lot of stuff. So it is in fact a dynasty. She's carried this everywhere.
Oh, and now they're in Mommy. Actually, my advice for actors and writers is it's good to go to an acting school to get a foundation and technique, but don't be a permanent student. Meaning, I knew people in an acting class in Hollywood that were really talented, and they stayed in it in their 50s because they were afraid. You need a technique, but go out in the real world, in the trenches. They have the comfort zone of being the funny one in class, and some of these teachers manipulate them that you're not ready yet to keep them dependent on them.
Well, also, the teacher wants to keep them in class so he can continue to make his feet.
Yes, and to create a dependency. So there's a lot of people in Hollywood that prey on vulnerable people, like acting coaches, managers.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yes, but where they, because there's no real black and white answers. You know, learn how to be an architect or a dentist. Making it in acting and writing, there's no real formula. So a lot of these gurus pretend there's a formula and try to keep dependent on it. And writing, you know, the best book on writing is from Stephen King. Read every day and write every day, no matter what it is. And I love the quote, "Don't be paralyzed with perfectionism." Just like when I wrote Seinfeld, someone taught me how to write sitcoms. They did things called a vomit draft, where you would not vomit. Get it out. Some people would be paralyzed and spend 9 hours on the line when it doesn't matter. So don't be afraid to suck. Just get your stuff, and then you get better and better. So that's my little advice. advice, and I'm wondering if anyone has any questions in general, because we don't know what you're thinking about our careers or the acting profession. Yes.
Go ahead, Vince.
I asked Fred this question, so I'll ask it to you. When you're getting a part and you've got the script and here's all these lines, what's the trick to memorizing, or how do you approach?
Well, the trick to memorizing, you gotta know it's hard. Now, for some people, it's easy. For me, it's hard. And the way that you memorize is one sentence at a time. You learn that sentence, you go to the next sentence. You got the second sentence, you go back and do them both together. And you do the third sentence, you go back and do all three of them. And you just work your way through in layers like that. That's how you learn your dialogue.
I want to say something that, and my guest star on sitcoms, I've had it happen that the hardest parts to memorize, and a lot of people said that piece of furniture, whatever, friends said, the weird three-line parts are harder because you say something weird out of context. You're not going to flow. Hey, Bob, hey, where'd you get that shirt? You're coming as a weird guy. I'm the delivery guy with the nose. And when I was on Friends, I had to say, it helps you get big tips with nice trousers. You know, you say something weird and it's like jumping on a Ferris wheel thing. So I sometimes when I had auditions spend all night trying to memorize it, 5 lines, and I would go in and then I couldn't remember it. So if I don't connect with the material, it's harder to say the words.
Well, also, yeah, if you have a script and the dialogue is not good, it's really hard to learn. If it's good dialogue, then it tends to flow, and you catch on to the flow, and you can remember it. It's pretty simple, really.
A lot of people cheat, like medical terms. Oh, an audition where you have to be what's it called, forensics, or the guys, you know, autopsies.
Yeah.
But you have to say stuff you don't say. So you try to cheat, like pretend you're looking at a clipboard. So you're fractured you know what I mean? So I've done some cheating. I know Marlon Brando wrote out of the Liberty, like lines on other people. I was on Murphy Brown. I was a weird bellhop, hotel guy, and I put on a masking tape. You know, wasn't facing a camera, like a piece of tape. But I find I would, if I just get to some key words, just weird words you don't say, I would just put them on pieces of paper.
I've actually used the clipboard trick liberally. I had a clipboard, and I knew it well enough that I could glance at it and keep talking, and glance at it and keep talking.
You have your lines.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not like, oh,
Well,
man.
if you're lucky, if you're doing a part where you're sitting at a desk.
Oh, the desk is,
Yes.
because then you can have your script right there on the desk.
There's a lot of.
No questions? Everybody's all clammed up here? Well, that's okay.
Yes.
You just gotta let it go. It's like pretend you're turning on a faucet and it washes away. Because if you hang on to the disappointment, it'll slowly but surely eat you alive.
I've been eating alive. It took me a while, where I would have an audition, and then I would look at the lines and go, "Oh, did I do that one? Oh, and then I get a laugh here." And it took me a while to learn to rip it up and stop going back. And it took me a while. My friend was a writer, producer, and everybody was writing for 9 years. So he would see people pass. So he would sort of say, "We know when you walk through the door, like here we have money. And if they need like a bouncer guy, he comes in, oh, they'll sit up. If I come in, you know what I mean? So you gotta know your craft, but a lot of it is you walk through the door. I'm not gonna be a detective on, you know, Law and Order or something, you know. So a lot of it I realized is you show up. And so what you can do, I did an independent movie was in it. And then the people who would come in, they had really great chops, but they just worried the guy. So a lot of it is preconceived.
Well, yeah, I mean, they go by how you look, absolutely. And another thing, you tend to dress for the part, get to the audition, and there's a row of 10 guys, and they're all dressed like you. It's like, what? They all came up with the same answer. And it's the same with lines. You do lines in an audition. You think you're supposed to do them the way it's indicated in the script. And the way you should do it is how you would say it. Because that's the thing that's unique. You are unique. Use your uniqueness to say these lines. Then you stand out. Because I've been on the side of the couch where the people come in and I'm observing them auditioning. And 9 out of 10 of them will say it exactly the same way. One person will come in and be completely natural and unlike the other actors, you know, that's the guy. It's crazy. Because, you know, you're fighting to try not to say it the way that everybody else is saying it. But that's your natural instinct. It's obvious.
A lot of it I learned is, it's sort of like, with women, for me, you know, whatever, it's like, you can't force it, you know, it's kind of like a connection where there's a thing called self-tape, which I don't like as much, because that just goes into some void. At least you come in a room, into the room, and there's a connection, and sometimes they feel you're right even before you say the first word, you know, the eye contact, they start walking in, and then, or they give you a note, but self-tape, you're just guessing.
Also, when you do the self-tape, you don't get to, for lack of a better way to say this, you don't get to work the room. Yeah, and that's kind of key.
But a lot of, not just working the room, it's a connection, like, you know, this is a kind of a funny story. They did a revival of The Love Boats many years ago, and I played a guy who tried to talk, and all right, next. And then for Norm Macdonald, like, he had a sitcom, like, 3 episodes of the guy who tried to speak, and they're laughing, and it was the same lines almost. So, no, there's no rhyme or reason, meaning I didn't do it any better, either one. For some reason, they were, and preconceived, it just was a connection. So you may, and another thing I learned with auditions, I used to make this mistake. Why? Like I would beat myself up just as much when I killed in an audition, but why did I do that right that time? I want to recreate that. You gotta learn, you can't recreate it. They see, I can stand up comedy, they say that's the hardest thing. But that's not hard, because once you learn the tricks, you know your opening joke. But auditions is different every time. It's a connection. Like I even said I could talk to a woman, and either they could, some look at me and not a lot like I'm Johnny Depp, some like I'm Hinckley, a mass murderer. It's the same bread. You know what I mean? So don't make the mistake I do, where I'm looking for a formula. Yeah, I would beat myself up when I really crushed. Why did I do it right? Why do I recreate that? When it's just walking through, being prepared and being yourself, and it's up to them.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing is, if you can psych yourself up to the point where you go in like you have the job, memorize the lines, and you have the job, you walk in there, the first take is when they say action. Of course, they won't say action in an audition, but if you get your headspace, and that's what you're doing the job, you're doing it the way you would do it on the set, that's going to give you a good chance of getting it.
I've done that where I'm in the waiting room pretending they want me, they just want to talk to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like a Warren Beatty, like just a.
You look like Warren.
Yes. Well, they used to call him the ugly Warren Beatty because he was a stud. No, seriously. So you watch the movies with him. Because I did her.
I don't listen to that.
But also, it's hard, you know, the hardest thing for me is I'd be in an audition with a crowd of people and go, I think he's better. You know what I mean? So it's hard not to psych yourself out. That's the hardest part. Where I'd be in a room and I hate when you hear the other people
Yes, you hear them doing the scene.
And then you hear them laughing and go, what's that? That's so funny.
Yeah,
You know,
everybody's laughing and going, why are they laughing?
Yes, and then I go into nothing, so I'm pressurizing myself. Yeah, so that's, to me, actually, the thing I see, the hardest thing for me in my acting career, besides auditioning, it's not the work, but I would say the night before, will I get enough sleep? You know, oh yeah, and will I not be sick? So it's,
Now, one time I went to this audition and I had really prepared. I went in there like, we're gonna shoot this, like this is the first day of production. And it was a scene that required me to have some tears. And I actually got to the point where my eyes welled up and I was all proud of myself. And Ben said, let's see it again. And I was like, what? You wanna see that again? I'm out of here, man. And I left. I was so proud of myself, really finally nail an audition. And I said that. It's completely,
it's like, it's like audition, it's like applying for college 5 times a week. It's
yeah,
that
exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Except it's not, you're not applying to 10 colleges. You're applying to 100 colleges.
in our day, but then lately not as many auditions, but just a lot of acceptance. Sometimes people, some of the lucky ones who to audition is they're performing, they enjoy it. I know some people love it.
Yeah, my daughter, Ever, she loves audition. And the casting people love her because she comes in with this bouncy, bubbly attitude. She knows her lines and she kills them. And it's basically whatever look they're going for. If she matches the look, she's in. Martha Plimpton, can you imagine auditioning Martha Plimpton? If you don't know what she's going to do, maybe she get another job. Hello, Vince. What do you want, man?
Well, I'm fascinated. We have the two of you here in Northwest Ohio. Went from one end with rejection. On the other end, what's the most fulfilling role you both of you have experienced, and why was that?
Most fulfilling role? Well, I have several, but I think the one I think I should have gotten an Oscar nomination for was because that's not anywhere close. But I am a little nervous. I used to fly remote with a model that once. At fun.
What was the most creative thing where, I guess he's asking which part?
Prevention,
You just had a great time.
great time. And, yeah, we just had a really great time with that film. I remember when we had the first day of production, Jamie Cromwell, like my dad, and he and I did the famous word laugh together. And they had the dailies, which is where they look at the footage from that day, see if they missed anything. So all the other nerds went to the dailies to watch the first day's work. And I wouldn't go in because I didn't want to see myself as the nerd. That's how embarrassing it was to play this part. So they come out afterwards and say, oh, man, get it. What? Get what? You're playing it for real. I said, yeah, these guys don't know the nerds. No idea. And that sort of set the tone, in my opinion, set the tone for the film because everybody played the parts very real.
That part too.
Not cartoony, yeah, we weren't going for the last. Go for the last, not funny. Present an honest look at the situation. The situation itself is funny. It has a much better impact in terms of.
So for me, the ones creatively fulfilling or where I had a good time or question?
Yeah, just a little bit. If you could have more of those.
Well, the thing is, I like people, Brett Stoller, this is Robin Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds. Hopefully, I used to go to movies and feel sorry for people. Oh, they're missing it. But anyway, to me, well, for the status of it, being on Seinfeld, just sitting in Monk's Diner, even if it's an extra, just be part of that iconic diner
Oh, yeah.
was to me like, man, that was, just knowing I was gonna be part of Seinfeld, any Fawcett, was
Andy Fawcett.
yeah, it was great. That one was very epic. But there's some of my favorite shows to be on were maybe sitcoms you never heard of because they didn't have self-importance. It's just loose. Everybody loves Raymond. I got my cousin Rod's. Was fun, but some of them they were a little snooty in that the self we're the 1-7 Emmys and you better not mess up and like Friends was fun to be on, but you kind of nervous, like, oh I better not mess up. It's 6 superstars. So actually I did a new Nickelodeon show that's on now called Super Duper Money League where you get to be creative and do improv. So for the fun of it, being on Norm Macdonald's sitcom you never heard of was fun because Norm Macdonald was fun and crazy and ridiculous and sneaking off the set to play tennis. Come on! I go, we gotta do a show. I don't care. Stupid show. Get over here, Freddie. And he was so nuts. And me and him and Artie Lang were arguing, playing tennis, and they had to find us. So stories like that. But to me, what I love is being appreciated. When you do a show, the thing is, I got more in my career, like Charlie Sheen had a show called Anger Management after he went through his stuff. And it was so loose, it was just one take. They had the best food of anyone. They had craft service where it was all day during the shoot. You get salmon, chicken, steak, desserts. And Charlie Sheen, whatever his reputation, he knew his lines, and I hung out with him. We were quoting lines from Apocalypse Now. His best movie ever. So to me, if you're in a thing, even if it's not a hit like Anger Management, but they appreciate the fact of being here. And my favorite stuff is when you don't have to audition, when they on you.
Oh, that's the best, getting an offer to go to work.
Yes.
I remember right after the Cowboys, I didn't even have an agent, but I kind of used my brother David's manager. And he would call me and say, how would you like to go to Malta? Oh, what's in Malta? He says, your next job. Just call up and put me to work. I love it. It's incredible.
Yes, it's
And
fun.
then the problem with that is that the profession kind of shifted, and all of a sudden everybody had to audition. I don't care if you were a movie star, well, not a movie star, but a well-known actor or a new person. You had to audition, and I had no experience auditioning because I was getting offers all.
Well, some actors have said they like auditioning because sometimes you'll get an offer without auditioning and you're on the set and you go, I don't know what they want or like. So when you audition, this is what they want.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But to me, yes, the best is when Anger Management, I didn't audition with someone after a year. And again, when you get a lot of BS in your career, rejection and smoking and stuff, when you get something where welcome and here's your parking spot and we get it, just appreciate
the parking spot on the studio lot. You pull in and there's your name on a piece of concrete.
But it's one stage. I used to do stuff where you have to park the Warner Brothers and take a tram, but I did like this thing, Veronica's Closet. No, I don't remember that. Where
My dog was on.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh cool.
You might have worked with
I only did one episode.
her. She was in it.
But where you park and you're right at the studio. That's so rare as the guest star guy because you have to, like I said, walk across or it's funny because I would do a guest star in a sitcom and the week's over and I'm just walking, with my, stuff all the way down to the car and those stars just driving past me. But yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
All right.
Please. Well,
The question was when you were asked to be on the letter, what was that experience like?
yes. Well, I was on the 12:30 level for that. The funny story, well, first it's nerve wracking, you know, you're afraid some Tourette's will come out and you'll curse Letterman or you'll, I used to have dreams as a stand-up, my stage with my legs caving in and falling down. So it's pretty nerve wracking. You're waiting there, you're in the green room, you're you know, coming up next, but the second time they called me with the same day, it was the day of the space shuttle. In 86, was it?
Wow, yes, it's 86.
Yes, where this back then, before, I think 9/11 changed a lot, but with the scrolls where they didn't have all the CNN all-day coverage, so they brought me into the office last minute and said, do the jokes you're gonna tell, and don't do anything depressing. And so Letterman goes, we don't need to be irreverent, today's a tragic day in American history, Fred Stoller. So it was pretty crazy. So, and Letterman, by the way, unless you're Bill Murray, it's like they does not look at the guests, between commercial breaks, talks to them. So, that was pretty nerve wracking doing a live stand-up. But I rehearsed it over and over.
So,
Letterman, I only did it twice. Then I did the Tonight Show, and then I came to LA where there were a lot of those evening at the Improvs. They all kind of blended in. They had so many in the 90s stand-up shows.
so, go ahead.
Yeah, in your years of developing, learning from, that got you to where you are.
It's just like when you order food, like I have an answer, but you order first. I'm like,
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Mistakes was like I said earlier with auditions, where trying to figure out a formula, trying to realize you come in the room and do it and let it go. As a writer, one of my biggest mistakes. Do we have any aspiring writers here? Okay. Don't do what I did. I used to try out. Is this a good idea? Has this been done? I never had the confidence to just write, oh, this is what I want to say. Or as even as a stand-up comedian, oh, is this funny? I would try things out in the bar. And if I had to do it again, I would just be more confident to get it right. And another, as a writer, like, don't care what you're looking for. You know, I would try to fit into puzzles. So I try really to go, don't worry about what you're looking for, how it works, do what I would like to do. And yeah, and so other regrets is some auditions where I knew I was wasting my time and just I wish I was more confident trusting feelings rather than being manipulated by acting coaches. It's like, you're not ready to do this or that.
Well, my deal was, I was on a show in Canada called Once and Again. And the premise was that the guest person on the show would have to go back in time and show you from like 15 years before. And they wanted me to play both parts. At first, he just wanted me to play one part, which was fine. Then they called me up and said, listen, could you play the other part also? I was like, yeah, sure. Well, it coincided with my son's first day in school, first grade. I wanted to walk him to class and then get on the plane. Well, it turns out that the very next day in Canada was the first day of production. So I didn't get any sleep. I was trying to learn the lines. I had the lines pretty good. And I get to Canada, go through wardrobe and all that stuff. And that was a mistake to not put the movie first. Because I wound up getting let go. Because I shouted it. You're not going to use lines on the set. I was doing a close-up, and I was really into it, very intense. And the guy went up on his lines. It's like, what the heck's the matter with you, man? That was a great take. I just went off on it. Well, it's all on film because the camera's still rolling. And we took a look at that back at the studio and like next. So yeah, that was a mistake.
Another regret, not career regret, just emotional, and I couldn't help it, is beating myself up, comparing myself to others' careers, and being mercilessly my worst enemy. Just, oh, this guy is this could be better, and just, but that's part of getting older, is getting better at accepting myself and situations and not comparing. And now it's brutal with, you know, you go online, you know, you see everything, going looking at people's IMDb credits. So it's easier said than done, but comparing yourself or what should be.
That happened to me with Eric Roberts in one of his earlier movies. I think it might have been The Boat at Greenwich Village. And I'm watching that movie. When the lights came up at the end of it, I don't know if I cried, but I was definitely emotionally bummed out because I thought, well, there's another guy who's passed me up. Eric Roberts is a fine actor, so he passed me. It's okay. You can complain about it. Any other questions?
Worse, yes.
You ever had an experience, maybe you weren't looking for it, or even a person, or whatever reason,
Yeah, the time I worked with Fred, because I'm joking. Fred was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like, or even Korean things, doing a cheesy movie, but then it ends up, I met some great people on it. You know, again, like I said, as I got older, I learned to appreciate different things. Like I did this crap thing I was cut from that nobody really saw. And I'm going, oh, what am I doing? But then the PA, you want friends? And I go, yeah. And then I realized this did nothing to my career. It's stupid. But just I learned to appreciate somebody was excited that, you know, the guy from Friends was there. So sometimes you think, what is this doing? It's not always what it's doing. So you gotta learn it. Somebody's thrilled. You think your day. You know what I mean? Or another thing is, after the sitcom was dried up, I did a lot of Nickelodeon and the Tween kind of thing called Disney. And shows like Ned's Declassified, and you don't get good residual money. I mean, you did better on Lizzie McGuire because you were search regular. And I'm just doing this stupid thing. But then when the kids grow up and you're part of their child, it's one of, it took me a while to realize that's one of the most rewarding things.
It does feel good when that happens.
Yes, to be part of someone's child. Like I was on Word Girl. Anyone ever seen that show? Like yeah, animation show. So it took me, you know, again, I judged myself. Oh, I never was on Six Regular, House, whatever. I was on eggshells, but it took me a while to, yeah. So some things you think is a waste of time or nonsense, but you made a new really good friend.
I mean,
Like
that's
it.
one of the-
I was sorry, Merry Christmas. Nothing.
American Christmas, yeah, we're going to be in a movie together.
Yeah,
A couple of times.
That and you and
Yeah.
so.
But I just wanted to say a PA is a production assistant. And they're just one notch below mailman on a movie set.
Yeah, so basically,
No offense to mailman.
yes. Yeah, so yeah, things you think are, and another thing to learn is that you think something is gonna be like an amazing thing. This is what, how could this miss? And no one cares, you know what I mean? So you can't anticipate. This has this guy in and this or whatever, and it turns out no one watched it. So you can't really, I mean, it's some things you know, like, I knew, like I said, when I was in Seinfeld, I was on Wizards of Waverly Place, so I knew, oh, this will, you know, keep young people remember me for a little bit to be part of, Wizards. This is what, sure. And actually, and we will be in the lobby with photos and any other questions you haven't thought of. It'll be at the table, right? Okay.
No, I'll be here, Chief.
Yes. I would think so.
Oh, boy, well, he's done voice acting. I tried to do voice acting. And if you shut your eyes and listen to like voice actors in a commercial and try to imagine them recording that information, like sometimes on TV, they'll show you the person recording the voice of a character. You get to see a video of them doing it. Huge difference between that and normal acting.
Well, the
Go ahead, Fred. Tell us.
pressure, you don't have to shave or memorize it. It's just, you read it often and it's kind of on you and it's a lot of fun. It hasn't been any really hellacious voiceover job story. The worst part was waiting to audition with a bunch of obnoxious voice guys. Yeah, baby. I drink out milkshake. They're kind of annoying. Voiceover guys do this thing, but yeah, there's no. Usually you gotta kind of every syllable kind of counts, because you're just doing it. You're not doing it with any facial expression, things like that. So you gotta kind of be broad. And
Well, the other thing you have to do is you have to have melody. You say the line. So, you can't just go,
yeah, sometimes you can be deadpan. Like I was a squirrel on Penguins of Madagascar. Fred's a squirrel. I've been named Fred a lot. And that was, what's up, Fred? This guy. So sometimes you could just be trolled, but voiceovers, as they say, is the bomb. But Lonnie, our friend, is scared what's going to happen with AI. That's a whole other discussion. But yeah, that's fun. And what was your question?
oh, Kung Fu?
Yes.
Yes, the second episode, I played mute. And every
You have
time
to memorize it.
I had to memorize nothing. And when I came to work, the crew was always like, we know your lines. So that was pretty good. My dad was in the same episode. So there is footage of my father, my brother, and me. So that's pretty good. That was on Kung Fu, the second episode, Dark Angel.
Oh, before we go, I want to say one thing about my friend Kojo. If anyone's interested in purchasing, he designs t-shirts, one company off the phone. And creatively, I am doing something that I'm not getting money for, but it's most fulfilling thing. We're on Substack, and he illustrates these stories from my life. And so he self-published them if you want, and he has, if you want, he can draw you punching me physical. Yes.
Oh, and also, I was supposed to mention, neglected to yesterday, that I have a podcast with a very good friend of mine, Richard Gabby. It's called Party Nerds. And I think if you put Party Nerds into the YouTube search box, our podcast will come up. And we don't call it a podcast. We call it a pop quest. What is it? Podcast. Sorry.
Well, one last thing, actually, speaking of that, one question about rejection. This is the best way to deal with rejection. If you're not always at the mercy of audition, but stay creative. That way, you're not just waiting for someone to fit into their puzzle, like do a podcast, to write, illustrate, tell your stories, tell your own stories. Be creative. That way, it takes the sting away from. Do you have anything for me? Looking for gatekeepers. That's a good thing I just realized. Because if you're being creative, all right, I didn't get that thing. But if you're also doing your own thing that no one can say no to and be creative, why I wrote the book, to tell my story rather than getting permission to be an actor. So that's, see, this.
And the same with me and guitar playing. I'm a guitar player and I don't have to get permission to play the guitar. Just pick it up and play it.
Right, so this is, we're talking, coming to mommy.
Yeah, come to mommy.
But,
Mommy. This is mommy.
but just I realize a good answer for rejection is keep creative, because that's something you can do. You don't have to get an agent to get an audition, and just stay creative.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yes, and we'll be out.
Thank you very much for this. Yes.
I'll be in the lobby.
So, everyone, please make sure you go out, get your merch, your autographs, your photographs. We're gonna be here all weekend, so make sure you get out there, and then we'll get ready for the next block. Best thing for connection. Hey, Mike, today was a minute.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. How much are they reconnected? Yeah, clear water change. What is
It's really cool. It's a social, my battery, social battery.
where yeah.
I still plug her.
I'm streaming right now, Fred. What do you think?
So it's continuing from the thing?
Yeah. I lost connection, but now we're back.
Let's see if Benny what's up, everybody? Take the banana roll. Oh, I should have set up the time. I should tell you face.
Oh, we gotta know when it's on. Yeah. Yeah, Tony's selling those $20. Sounds good. Here.
How you guys doing?
This.
The insight.
Fred's World of Wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the rent.
yeah.
Were you just at Fred's shoulder on Substack?
Yeah.
Then I pulled up the nerd. Yeah, party nerds.
That was already good.
Who was it? Mike?
Yeah.
Now, you're-
Yeah.
okay, and you're part of.
Yeah. A part of Toledo Town.
Okay. Cool. This is
Getting watch minutes.
Getting watch hours. Getting watch hours.
what are watch hours?
Watching these days, that kind of thing. Right. It's kind of our shtick on the.
I can record something.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Okay, so I've got the podcast. I've got Substack calls. You're on Substack too. Maybe you're not on Substack. But
No, we're both. We're on this. Yeah, he was.
Substack too.
Well, no, I was just. I thought Fred. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Because when Fred was pointing over here, I thought he was referencing you, but he was referencing
Right.
you.
Yeah. And that's basically the same name, like of the same under the same.
Okay, so I'm following Fred Stoller on Substack.
Yeah.
So I'm getting your guys' content. All the nerd
Party nerds
party nerds.
on YouTube.
Well, I've got it. Is it the same thing on? I go Apple. Yeah, I go Apple Podcasts. Is there any? Who's the other guy?
Richard Gaba, he's the director, part-time actor.
Okay. Have I? You look that picture. Where would I know him from?
Virgin High. All the while,
That sounds familiar.
if you IMDb,
Okay, anything else I should?
Yeah.
They've got Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna watch. I gotta watch Revenge of the Nerds again. So you're saying that was not you, but it was you playing like this guy doesn't know he's a nerd. But by doing that, you became the ultimate nerd, and then everybody else solved it.
yeah, well, they all realized that I was playing it surreal.
Which is why it became probably such a big movie. Because you think it's like, oh, that's a neat that guy. People know how to play what. Yeah, I guess that's yeah. Well, that was one of the most powerful things I thought because I knew one that asked questions about rejection and stuff. And when you were saying well, what they think, no, in that role with you, yeah, where you're doing these, and I mean, but it has to be tough to do that in a way too. In that, okay, there's what they're asking for, they're asking this age, yeah. But wow, no, I'm not. Like I said, in the acting and filmmaking profession, but I was hoping other people was like, okay, if you're an actor, listen to what these guys are saying. And right off.
Do you want to say anything to the stream?
Good time. So how long has the stream been going?
52 minutes.
Any comments or anything?
Yeah, we have Clearwater Chad was there.
Uh-huh.
Terrible Troy.
Uh-huh.
Pikesville
That's Al.
AL. Colt C.
Let's see.
Yeah, I've seen him be there before. Ryan Sherman.
Oh, sure.
You mean like on the stream? You can, sure, yeah.
Hey, I'm here in Maumee, Ohio at the Maumee Indoor Theater, the Maumee Film Festival, and I just got to see two really cool guys from my past. Many movies they've been in, Fred Stoller and Robert Carradine, that they just had the best question and answer episode and shared their background, how they've auditioned for roles, what they've been in their most fulfilling moments, how they handle rejection. I'll tell you what. Be sure if you can get down here to Maumee tonight or tomorrow and catch them, that would be great. Or follow them on Substack, any podcast, and learn more about these guys. They're fascinating, they're fun. You'll get a ball out of learning more about these two great actors. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'm learning how to take rejection at a photograph convention. No one has bought anything. And that's going to be the next question we'll ask. How do you deal with that? Well, it's just I and they had a table, and We have the book, from the Substack.
Is this book? Yeah, that's the comic. That's the sort of a self-printed comic.
Okay, I'll buy this. With 50 cents.
It's actually, yeah, it's sort of a, sorry. Yeah.
Wait, this 50-cent comic book, because of recent inflation,
Right.
$20.
Right.
It's worth it. I'm gonna buy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your argument? Sign it.
Ah, yeah. He's, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, you know, I draw. You want me to draw you Punch and Phrase? You get a. Yeah, yeah. I'll draw you that if you have a second. I'll just kind of look at you and then.
That'll cost you $40.
That'll like yeah. Don't worry, free with the comic.
I'm a local celebrity, so
What do you surround?
now you're down to So by full time, exact sciences, 45 years old, average risk of colorectal cancer. Talk to your healthcare provider about even 4 months before having 4 massive lab tests sent to you. So that's my full time. My full time job is Vince Percy, the master of ceremonies, hence DC medicine. Whatever somebody will have to do, it's another thing, energetic voice. Example, this morning I did the CYO cross country meet, and then I did a Cleaning Your Streams local nonprofit that was cleaning up streets around town. They had a luncheon. Hope that was that. I thought I was going to be doing one here today, but I'll be back tomorrow.
Is this the stream? Can they see this?
Let's see. Oh, it's, oh,
Where's the,
give me 1 second.
where's the,
Facing one. All right.
so someone gave me
Oh, here it's kind of dirty.
my social battery. Let me show this. And it's going down a little bit. What's up, everybody? Having a good time.
So, thinking of things like
Oh, yeah, you can take that and see it.
and just random
That's where it sits.
I have a green diamond.
So, yeah.
One of these people is
So I'm having you hold up the phone. It's like the Dumb and Dumber thing.
I'll help you watch the so long since I've watched that.
Let me read any comments.
Yeah, I never watched it. I haven't seen it. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
I knew Fred.
So,
yeah, you know.
Hi, Gary.
Guys just,
Yeah.
like Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Like the mid-bike scene, and when you're just like freezing.
Yeah.
And stuff, and I feel like when I was a kid. Scissors. He goes, so there's no chance we're gonna be. That's the million. Yes.
Right. That was funny. I like how they came up with that one. So, yeah. Right, I don't know, the Fred sign, okay, he did. So the sign's back, but I guess I can sign down here.
Well,
Yeah.
we can sign it.
That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's the real, it's real sign.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, you just put like, so these,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that these, I know when I get names, it's like,
no, so this is just my little.
oh, yeah.
So right, yeah, just VC the.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank you very much for that.
Well, here's, oh, could you mean,
Oh, right.
you have change your,
Let's see. Now,
or do you take credit cards?
do you have Venmo?
Venmo? Yep.
Or, yeah, or, what's the other one?
Yeah, I can do Venmo.
Cool.
He's just familiar with this. He's like, oh, I'm so impressed. More of a support. Yeah, like Sarah. One more. You can squeeze it in your food. There's a little bit of extra black. I made sure that 3 times. Yeah. I didn't expect to. That's why I didn't expect to.
You take care of yourself. Really good.
I know. That's funny. He's like, you want to smile while you're punching? I'm like, yeah, that's very funny. Okay, I definitely gotta stay up.
Do you have a? My credit card reader? I could.
Never readers work.
Yeah, sure.
Charles, what are you guys gonna post, their thing on?
When did you start
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so when we turn this girl, give a shout out. Robert Carradine for helping me with I appreciate it.
And I see how involved you are.
I just got it. Yeah.
Like around COVID.
31. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's the beginning. That's just the first one you can.
Yes, yeah. I love, this one.
Works. Right? I'm very familiar with that part. Learning now.
Yeah.
That's how she gets me called. It's a. She has a farm. It's here. Cody was like, it's like that more south is where Golden Creek. But she lives there. So they run the creek. And she does credit calling on me. And I said, I don't have a farm. Well, what is it? You guys have been great. I hope you had fun.
It's, unique. It's really fun.
No. They had, nope. It's wrong with me. Everything is perfect. I mean, it's like, under like this. Yeah, and actually, we joked about it, because we learned from those, how long we're gonna stay. And I was like, come back.
Because we also do.
Four, all right. All right, you could end it if you want.
But you get.
All right, let me see if this, my glasses.
All right, sounds good. See you later.
All right, thank you for people for hanging. Got some watch outs in. Oh, popcorn smells good. I'm tempted.
Fred, why don't you go ahead and get 2 small popcorn?
Okay,
Please.
all right.
Yes, please.
Go last. I don't think you need to stay. Right.